And just wanted to come and talk to y'all, man, just for a few minutes about money management, man. I know it's been a few folks that have commented a few things. A bunch of people that hit me up before, and I used to help a few folks when it came to money management, some investments, things like that. But one of the things I think that is extremely important is to be able to talk about the money. Talk about money, man. I know it's been the pandemic been crazy. That's been bananas. 2020 was a crazy year for so many people, losing jobs, not having enough money to feed their families, people looking for their next move, the next gig, trying to come up in some type of way. But I think it's extremely important, especially going down the road of what most of us want to accomplish, which is some type of comfort, right? Some type of comfort. And a lot of times, a lot of people are looking for a major lick. And I see a lot of people that are very, very interested in the stock market and things of that sort. Um, so make sure that some of the things that you guys are wanting to do, that you line yourself up properly. And I'm just going to dive in a couple of things that I think that some of y'all should be doing. If you're on here, man, give me a shout out. I shout you guys out as you guys come on. Make sure you comment. Let me know that you're on here so I can shout y'all out really, really quick as I dive into this conversation. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I know I haven't been going live as much as used to, but some really, really good things that are in the works that I am wanting to try and do, and definitely want to try to help as many people as possible. But it's going to take some work. It's going to take all of us to do some things that are necessary. And just as a pre-conversation, make sure that if you guys know anything about those young men, young boys, young children that are missing, make sure that you continue to share that information that you actually see right here. I'm definitely want to make sure that we're putting that out there for the California City young boys that are still missing. And so any type of help that you all can bring, any type of awareness to that will be tremendously, tremendously helpful to try to help find these young men, put them in the hands of people that love them, and because they are still missing. Make sure that y'all go ahead and go and like the Power Moves 365 page. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go and like the NAACP Bakersfield page, and always follow all the social media stuff that I got going on. But to dive into some of the stuff about money, I guess I have a question. I guess for some folks, your position on money. You know what I mean? What is it that some folks are dealing with as far as saving? Is it credit? Is it um, wanting more of an income? A lot of time, those do I need to find a second income to try to make ends meet, things of that sort. One of the things that I think I've seen more than anything is spending habits and credit. I always say, man, cash is king, but credit is your queen. And so just like you play checkers, I'm probably play chess. The queen is the one that's extremely versatile. Your queen is extremely versatile. Your king, he's stagnant. He in one place. So that's your cash. Your cash is sitting there. Boom. You want to protect your cash. So if your credit ain't right, your cash is getting hit real easy because your queen got knocked off. So if your queen ain't right, your cash ain't gonna be right. If your king, if your queen can't maneuver properly and move in a proper place, then guess what? As cash, your king gonna get ate up, beat every single time. And so money management, number one, is a huge issue, and especially one of the goals that we have with Power Move is to increase wealth by $1 million in 2021, and that'll be one of the main goals or one of the goals that we'll have moving forward, so that more and more people can tie in and learn how to manage and increase their wealth at the same time. There's so many different ways that a lot of us have been um, not taught, a lot of things that we haven't had the opportunity to learn or have been exposed to. And so what we want to try to do is expose you to that information so then you can try to follow the steps. A lot of people want to um, circumvent the system. It's not a fly by night situation. What it is that becoming disciplined, becoming very aware of where you're at with your particular finances at that moment, and then creating a game plan and executing it. It's not a difficult process, but you got to get the process going at some point. And sitting back and saying one day is not going to do it. And so it's not going to come by some fly by night. I'll give you an example. You'll see people that make a bunch of money but still broke. They're making millions but still broke. You wonder why you hear so many stories of former athletes that have made crazy amount of money, and then they're bankrupt or they're broke or whatever the case may be, and then we look at them like they're crazy. But we do a lot of those same habits too. They're just on a major scale, doing it with more money, buying things outside of what we should be purchasing. Trying to flaunt a life or live a life that pretty much is keeping you broke. So although you can afford something, and most of us, if we just sit back for a second and think about it, you live in a certain way or whatever, wherever you at. No matter if you scrub toilets, or you're a CEO of a company, or you're someone that's making 100, 200, $300,000 a year. You be at one level, you're struggling. People struggling on every level, right? Then it's like, okay, if I make more money, I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. So at that point, you get a raise. For instance, you get a small raise or whatever. What happens with that small raise? You automatically already thinking, right? Where are you gonna spend that money? The first thought is where I'm gonna spend the money. Where's that money gonna go? Where's that money? How can I spend that money? That's the first thought that most of us have is, man, where can I spend this money? Or I've had my eye on this one thing, so I'm gonna go and grab and snag that, right? So that whole process continues to happen time and time and time and time again, all because all because the plan hasn't been put in effect to be able to manage the money properly. So then you can set yourself up for success. If, for instance, if you take that extra funding and you put it towards some type of debt, or you put it towards a savings or some type of investment, now you're looking at putting yourself in a better situation. Because the first thing I believe that most people should do is try to get out of debt, try to take down those credit cards, whatever major expenses that you have, get that stuff out the way, get your credit straight. Now you're putting yourself in a better position to be successful. If you're not taking those initial steps, those things are going to have to happen first. There's a lot of different methods. I'm going to be talking about these things coming up here real soon. People do a lot of things like, authorize users on their credit and stuff like that. And those things do help, but you also have to clean it up. You know what I mean? You have to put yourself in a better position to be successful, to be able to do some of the things that you want to do. If you're looking at doing investments into the stock market and all those type of things, you got to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position to be successful, that you're not trying to go out and get the expensive car and trying to pop bottles and all this type of stuff. You're looking rich, but you're actually broke. So if you're not putting yourself in a position to where, if you stop working and stop having an income tomorrow, how you gonna survive? How will you survive? How will you be able to pay your bills? How will you be able to Are you able to pay your bill for the next 6 months to a year because you put yourself in a financial situation to be successful? You didn't overspend, and you primarily put yourself in a position so that you can save money. Um, really, Oh, okay. I see you. What's up, Daniel? I see you, brother. Hey, Mick Flo, what's happening? What's going on with you? I see you, bro. I see you. I see you, Flo. I see you. What's up, Melvin? I see you. But most people, they go out. You know, they'll go get a job. They'll go do these different things. But what happens is that it doesn't translate. It doesn't translate right into you putting yourself on that next level. And I think Melvin had talked about that. He said primary income from working from the job should be used only for the necessities and bills. Secondary income should be used for investments. Residuals from investments should and can be used to reinvest. That's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. That's a really good way to look at it because if you're going to work more hours, right? That you shouldn't be working more to get other things. You should be working more to lower your expenses. So if your expenses is more than your income, then now it's time to look at that. Okay, what am I spending too much on that I need to cut back? And that's one of the major issues is to cut back because we want to live a certain lifestyle, we want to do certain things and stuff like that. Most people have enough to be able to get themselves to a certain place. So the question is okay, how far back am I willing to cut myself back in order to propel myself forward? Because sometimes you got to pull yourself back if your expenses will give $1,000 expense. Just as an example, if your expenses are $1,000 and you're only making, you know, $600, then obviously you got to have to make some adjustments because you're continuing to put money on a credit card, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You continue to put money here and there, and then guess what? You ain't making no money. All you're doing is continuing to perpetuate yourself, put yourself in a situation to where you will not come out of that hole. You keep digging that hole, you keep digging that hole, you keep digging that hole. And that's what happens a lot of times, especially when it comes to the Black community, is that we're not taking ourselves seriously enough to become successful. We have family members, we have loved ones, et cetera, et cetera. We're not taking the time out to really put money at the forefront. That's why even 2021, I do a lot of community work, community activist work. 2021, I am focusing a lot on helping people realize their financial situations and helping them divert in a different way, put themselves in a different situation. So been helping a few folks in that. And so it's really, if we don't have our money structure right, we will never be right as a community. And I see that, and I see that time and time again. And I've been seeing that year after year and year after year. And it's like, okay, we have to at least have some type of financial structure as a people in order for us to uproot ourselves. And one of the major issues and plighted issues that we have is credit and the management of money. And if we don't get those two things under control, we will never be able to grow. And we always want this way of circumventing some type of system. You can't circumvent the credit system. Even when we talk about starting a business, I own a few. So it's not about necessarily, oh, how can you access credit or how can you can't circumvent that. You first got to work on it. You got to get it right. Get it right. You know what I mean? Take a year, take a couple years, whatever it's going to take. It usually don't take that long. You got a few avenues that you can go down, but you're never going to allow yourself to get to that next level unless you take the time out to take yourselves seriously. And you want a business loan, and you want people, think about it, let's break this down. You want somebody to hand you and trust you with your business. Let's be real. You want somebody to hand you $50,000, $100,000 for your business, right? And you got a 450 credit score. What is a credit score? Credit score tells the financial institutions that you know how to handle money, that you know how to pay bills on time. You expect somebody to hand you $100,000, and your credit messed up. Come on, man, make that make sense. Ain't nobody talking to y'all like this. Ain't nobody gonna hand you no money. Ain't nobody gonna hand you no money. Come on, man, we got to be serious. We got to be serious about it. You got ain't nobody handing you no money. You can probably get some grants, stuff like that. You may luck up, but that ain't gonna be lasting and sustaining, right? You have to have some type of business credit, put yourself in position to be successful so that you can access what you need, period. And what some of the statistics I've been looking at the numbers and stuff, the average family, especially in the black neighborhood, is negative. The average family doesn't even have $400 for an emergency. If an emergency occurs, right? And I'm telling you, I used to be in that position. I'm not one of those that hey, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. So understanding that it takes a process. You have to be willing to build yourself and build what you are and where you're going in order for you to be successful. If you want to be successful, guess what? That's what it's going to take. It's going to take you putting in the work, you putting on the process of you actually hammering it out, hammering it out, getting your credit right, starting to manage your money properly. If you're not doing those two things, who's gonna trust you with money? You got cousins and uncles and stuff and family members and kids that you ain't gonna loan no money to because you know they ain't handling their money right. But you expect the bank or whoever else to hand you money when they pull up your credit score, right? And you got a bunch of late payments, you got a bunch of missed payments, you got a bunch of stuff on your credit report that said that your stuff been delinquent and your stuff have been charged off or whatever the case may be. You got a bunch of those on there, and they look at that, and you get mad at them, right? And then we come. I mean, hey, they can come from me. I'm a community actor. You know, y'all coming on the man trying to hold me down. Well, you ain't put yourself in a position for them to hold you down for us to have the excuse to say that they're in the wrong. Number one. Okay, you be in the right, then we can say they're in the wrong. If your credit score and stuff is right, then you don't get the stuff, you don't get the loan, you don't get all this other type of stuff. Then now we got to fight. Now we got to fight. Now we got an issue. But you got to take care of the first thing first, which is taking care of business. That's all it is, taking care of your business. If you take care of your business, everything else gonna work itself out. If you don't do that, well, you wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. It won't work never, ever. You may get a little grand or something like that, but you ain't getting no real money to get your stuff and get it going. Not until you decide you're gonna sit down, get your credit right, get your stuff together, and then get it going. Now we can talk about why is that the case. Obviously, we put ourselves in that position, right? From bad money management, from bad situations that may have happened or whatever the case may be. Somebody is taking advantage. Some folks been victim to parents putting stuff on their credit. They low down parents. You probably been one of them. And put your kids on this stuff, and then all of a sudden now they jacked up all because you didn't put their stuff on there properly. That's the crazy part. The second thing is this is that every time you make a decision to not pay something on time, make to not call the people and make an agreement, you ain't doing nothing but hurting yourself. Spending outside your means. Most people do, especially us, especially black folks. We spend outside our means, and we look at the big time stars and all this type of stuff. And we look at them like they dumb. They got millions of dollars coming in, and then they end up broke because they ain't paid taxes. They got mismanaging the money. They been overspent, not thinking long term. And we in the same position, but on the smaller scale. We buying cars and we getting all this type of stuff to do what? To show off for some folk? To let somebody to stun on somebody else, but you still broke. If you couldn't work tomorrow for 3 months, then they coming to take the car because you haven't put yourself in a position to be successful. Now, make sure y'all go to powermoves.365.com. Go check out the stuff that we have going on. Make sure that you go and like the page Power Moves 365 on Facebook, or Instagram, and YouTube. Go ahead and check it out. We're gonna have some really, really cool things coming up, man. I'm super excited about 2021, about some of the things that we've been working on, trying to present to you folks that is going to change the game. Y'all know I'm the game changer. I'm your coach. Hey, man, it's going to be a huge, huge undertaking that's going to happen this year. And it's going to take a lot of you that are willing to put in the work. Okay. We're talking about transforming some lives. We're talking about transforming some people that want to really do better for themselves in this area. This is an area I'm only going to be taking a limited amount of folks because my time is going to be extremely limited in this particular area. But definitely want to try to make an impact on the financial family. The holistic part of the family have to have some type of financial uh, foundation, and you can't finagle the system, man. That's the issue that I've seen, especially I work with a lot of people, is that we try to finagle the system. You cannot finagle the system. The system is the system, and you have to walk the process, be patient, do your due diligence instead of going to buy all this stuff, smoking it up all the time, going and popping bottles, buying cars and stuff. You need to reinvest back into yourself. Ain't talking about starting no business and all that type of stuff. I'm talking about you are a business. You, the individual, as a business. You, the person, you're a business. So, what is your um, grade as an individual business? You have to grade you. How are you managing you? How are you managing your finances? How are you managing your life? How are you managing the thing that you have coming on your particular table? I ain't talking about your side gig or the next multi-million dollar project that you got going on. I'm talking about you as the individual. You are a business. You. What is your credit looking like? What type of stuff you spending money on? These have to be real conversations that we got to have. What are you spending money on? What do you need to cut out? What don't you need that you need to cut out for the next year so that you can put yourself in a better position? That's right. You are important. If you're important to you, you got to invest in you. You looking at your stuff, you know your stuff out of whack. You ain't took the time to fix that, but you want to go and get stocks and you want to go and man, come on, man. Come on, man. That's backwards. That's backwards. You go in and get some real estate, you know, and your stuff messed up. You looking at all the YouTube videos that you can look at, and you ain't did nothing about you. Make make that make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense for me, because you have the opportunity to do what's best for you. But now, it's like most people, man. You can be absolutely ashamed of where you're at, and it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, yeah. All of us been there. I've been there. I'm growing with y'all too. Come on, man. We all growing together. It ain't about no lies, big U's, none of that. It's about the growth of us as a people, and we got to do this thing together. It ain't about you feeling ashamed about where you're at. It's about where you're trying to go. If you stay ashamed about where you're at, you'll never get to where you're trying to go. And you got to reach out to the people that can help get you where you need to go. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? That's what it's going to take. It's going to take a unified front of folks that's really driven about where they want to go, because money is essential. Money is essential. I know a lot of folks, man. I know a lot of folks. They got money and broke. A lot of money, but folk with money but broke, because you can live above your means. See, that's That is what's happening. A lot of folks is living above their means and not having a real harsh conversation that folks and they ain't telling the truth. The friend ain't gonna tell you the truth. They gonna tell you keep studying, keep doing your thing, keep hey man, you doing your thing. Hey, you got the nice car, you got this going on, you buying the weed and dude blowing up everything. They're gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you that you're doing good. No, you're not. People talking about they broke, but they can find $50,000 weaves everywhere. Come on, man, make it make sense. You ain't broke, you got the money, but it only gonna take you a few bucks to fix your credit, to get your stuff right. But you all glammed up, looking fresh, looking stunting on them, got it, but then ain't got nothing to show for it. Don't feel secure. I tell people, man, you have to start to put yourself in a position to where you can feel secure. If you don't feel secure about where you're going and what was happening in your life today, you can do something about it today or tomorrow. Ain't nothing stopping you but you. You're the only person stopping you. You're the only person that's stopping you from being successful. You're the only person that's stopping you from taking yourself to that next step. You're the only one. And so until you start that process, it will never happen, man. I'm telling you, it will never happen. You got to step outside of who you are and say, I'm going to do something different. I'm tired of being like this. I am going to do something different. This can be a loved one. This thing may not be you. This can be a loved one that you have to have a real conversation with. Yo, baby girl, yo, bro. Hey, man, you have to get yourself together. You got to get yourself together. If you don't, man, you see where you're trying to go. People robbing Peter to pay Paul all day long. Have the people shouldn't you have to listen, man. If you do things right, I tell people that, man, if you do things right, if you do things right, you rarely would ever have to borrow money from nobody. Facts. If you set yourself up right, if you take a year or so just to set yourself up right, it won't take much. Even where you at. I was talking to a brother the end of part of last year, and no, it was more towards September area, and it's about knowing where you at that moment. Just because you've been in a low place, and I was talking to the brother, I was like, hey man, I've been there, totally been there. He was at one place, we were making a certain amount of money, dropped down, was dang near homeless, trying to figure out his next move. Didn't want to live anywhere. I gave him a few suggestions of some places. He didn't want to, live in a halfway house with someone. I was breaking it down to bro. I was like, listen, man, you you're talking about getting another place. You want to help try to get into another place or whatever. That was pretty much going to take up the income that he had coming in. He was only maybe from the expenses that we had looked at, maybe would have had $10 left, maybe. But let any little thing happen. I mean, he in a hole. He in a hole. He in a hole. So I told him, I was like, listen, man, with the income you got, you go here, you bunk here, be there for 6 months or so. Get your stuff straight, get your credit straight, da da da. And you're like, you know what, man, I'm glad you told me that. We cried on the phone, man. We cried on the phone. But because I understood it, his hurt, his pain, his understanding. But see, the people that you around can be your worst enemy. They not coming and tell you the truth about where you at because of where you're trying to go. Wherever you're trying to head to is fine. Yo, if you get that understanding, if you get the information and you be like, yo, I just want to live a struggling life. Well, okay, cool. Keep it pushing. All right, cool, man. That's where you at. Hey, gave you the information. That's on you now. But if you want more for yourself, if you're trying to elevate who you are, where you're trying to go to, right? Then that's exactly what it's going to take. It's going to take some type of discipline. It's going to take opening up and being honest with yourself. You got to first be honest with you. because you're the first business that you got to work on. If you ain't working on you, you ain't working on nothing. If you ain't working on you, you ain't working on nothing. So that's where a lot of time when we talk about, yo, man, what's going on in the stock market, what's going on with this, that, which is great. Folks trying to get on, they're trying to do, but the first, do you got the first thing straight? You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to, because ain't no, hey, this ain't no, what's the thing that they had going on before? Somebody typing in that there was that pyramid money thing. Man, what was that? You know what that thing was? You know what I mean? I forgot whatever they called that money tree thing where they was passing money around and somebody would get the money. Uh, they called it different name, but I forgot what it was called. They called it different stuff. Y'all type it in there, and I'll put it up whenever somebody type it in. But whatever that thing is called, some that little money tree thing, you just you pass money around, and then somebody get it'd be $300 could turn into $1,200 or something like that. About time it roll around to you, whatever that thing is called. Now that ain't what the stock market and stuff is. You can lose money and all this type of stuff. But those things are, quick get ups that folks be doing. It ain't nothing but a scam anyway. But if you're trying to get involved in those type of things, it ain't no good for you. Ain't no good to be trying to invest in your broke. You first got to invest in you. You first got to invest in getting your stuff straight. It ain't no quick fix, get rich schemes. That's what folks be trying to get involved in. Get rich schemes. What? Yeah. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing I'm gonna need y'all to understand is that as it come on a little bit more and more, one of the things that I'm definitely gonna want to talk about is getting your money straight. If you want to get your money straight, that has to be key. The priority for you is to get you straight first. If you're not doing that, it ain't gonna help. So I don't know how many times folks have come and they talked about, man, I want this, and this. You want a car, you want a house, you want the latest gear, you want to make sure that you have money put up, you want to be able to stunt, boom, 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 boom. Right? You want all these great things. You want a lavish lifestyle. And one of the key things that I always try to tell people are, what are you willing to sacrifice for that? What are you willing to sacrifice to get to that point? Because it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort. If you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to put in the effort, then now you're putting yourself on a total different platform. You have to be willing to be disciplined and put in the work. If you're able to do those two things, man, you can go super far. The limit of where you can get to is endless. It's it's an endless journey for you. So you have to make that decision. You have to decide what you want to do with your life, where you're trying to go, because you have to start to make that real conscious decision on what you want to do. Because if what you've been doing ain't been working, it's time to do something different. I'm I'm just trying to tell you that there is something more out there for you. Okay, hold on real quick. There is something more out there for y'all if 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 you're willing to put in the work. Most people not. Are you one of those people? Are you one of those people that's ready to really put in the work? Are you ready to? And I'm really wanting people to talk to their families, their loved ones, Uh-oh. Looked like I went out for a second. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. My bad. Hit a button. But again, want to make sure that whatever you're trying to accomplish, man, that you have a team around you, that you have people that you're that's holding you accountable, that you're either a couple or some type of um, family situation or friends that are saying, you know what, we all want to win. And the way that y'all win together, right, is to get your credit straight. If you get your credit straight, man, it's not a talk, it's a do. It's not a talk, it's a do. It's an action situation. So you can't be acting on it. You have to be willing to do the work. If you're willing to do that, then you can get anywhere. So that's where I think I want to continue to motivate and encourage people down the road of success, and also give you some tips, some go down. Also, we'll be putting out some ways that you can actually, if you want to start the process and boost your process, there'll be some ways for you to do that as well. But the main goal is to try to put people in a situation where they can be successful, and then they can leave a legacy for their families. You know, and I think that's a key component. And when we talk about legacies, I think a lot of people think materialistic, right? But a legacy is information, like the knowledge on how to and what to do, and the learning how to build and do those things in a proper way. Um, is so important. And so if once you learn those tools, you're able to pass those things down, and we're no longer passing down bad habits. We're not passing down bad habits to our children. We're no longer passing down these terrible, terrible habits that we accumulated growing up. And then all of a sudden, they're stockpiling, they're getting all this debt, and they want to study. They get credit cards, at 18, 19, 20 years old, and now they're in a hole, and then they're continue to try to dig out of that hole when they're 50, 60 years old. So it's extremely important. No matter where you at, man, it's just starting where you at. No matter where you're at, you just start. It doesn't matter. You have to start somewhere. If you don't start, you'll never get going. You always be talking about the next day and the next day and the next day. And you'll see you said that last year. Now it's 2021 and still ain't did nothing. Still ain't made a move. Still haven't taken that next step. So that's where the next question is going to be: is what are you willing to do when you take that next step? What are you willing to do to continue down that road so that you can be successful? It won't happen unless you put in the work. It will not happen unless you put in the work and you put in that effort, because no one else is going to care. No one else is going to care as much as you are going to care. If you don't care, why somebody don't care? Why should somebody care more than you? So remember that. If you're doing the silence, you're trying to get this big time money making business off the ground, this multi-million dollar process that you want to do. If you ain't got your stuff together, how is anyone going to trust you with the funds necessary to take you to that next level if you're not taking care of your business? So whatever you got to do, I'm gonna go back to it. Whatever you got to do, if you got to scale back, and what I mean by that, if you living in too big of a house and you got to scale back, you do that. If you didn't overspent on this car that you didn't went and got, and whatever you got to do to try to get up out of, you need to do that. You made it, put yourself in these situations. Hey, ain't no shame in it. Your whole goal is to put yourself in the position to grow. It ain't about nobody else. It ain't about nobody else. It's about you. It's about where you're trying to go, about how you're trying to develop you. You see what I'm saying? That's a key focus on where you're trying to go. There is no other reason. There is no other process. There is nothing else that can be said or done unless you put in the actual work to do that. So you got to be willing to scale back and say, you know what? I'm overspending here. Most people, they don't even want to write down their expenses. Let's be honest. Most don't even want to write them down. Can't even write them down. Can't even write down everything they spending because they too terrified to see the results of what it. Hey, you got to be willing to do it. Go write them down. Write every expense that you have, all the money that you got coming in, compare them and see where you at. I mean everything, down to the penny, because every penny don't matter. And then you look at the list and you say, you know what things I need to scale back up. Hey, if you're on some lease or whatever that you at this 4, 5 bedroom house and you need to scale on back. Hey, if you got to scale on back, it's all right. It's all right because you're putting yourself in a better position. If you sometimes some people all they need is 6 months to a year to put themselves in a much better situation. Now you can take that extra income. Now you can see where that income that you're saving. Now you can put it towards the debt, and you can put it towards fixing your credit. You can put it towards investing. Now you're putting yourself in a better situation to be successful. Most people, when they make more money, they put themselves they stay in the same situation on every level they at. You broke and poor, ain't got no money, and all of a sudden you get a job, right? Go from homeless to get a job, right? Now when you get a job, your job you're making $1,500 a month. Now you didn't create expenses to where your expenses is $1,800 a month. So now you even worse off than when you was when you was home because you done made a little bit more money. Now you done created more and more expenses for yourself, right? Instead of being simple, okay, let me get my okay, I'm only making 1,500 or $2,000 a month. Okay, I'm gonna put myself in a position to where I at least whatever housing I get, whatever vehicle I get, all those things, I'm putting myself in a position where I have enough cushion. I'm not spending 60, 70, 70, 80% of my income that's going toward bills because now I'm gonna need a cushion to either pay bills down for to save money, right? You have to start putting yourself in that position. If you're never, that's why a person continues to go in that same hamster wheel because you're going from expense to expense to expense. No matter how much money you have coming in, then you go, okay, you get a raise. Now you're making $2,500. Ooh, we making 20. Now I'm gonna go get this car that I've been looking at. Right now, I got the income to show that I can go get this car. Now I got 2,500, 3,000, $4,000 a month coming in. Right. So now, okay, I'm gonna go get this house. I'm gonna get this car, these couple cars. Now I'm studying. Right. But now the expenses are still more than the income that's coming in. So now you piling up credit card debt and you robbing Peter to pay Paul because now your income is still not raising to the height that you needed to. So that continues to become a problem. That has been a problem, and we have not solved that issue. That issue is plaguing our community. It's been a absolute disaster of the money management system that we have, the way that we manage the money that we have coming in, because there is no way that we can have that much money and that much buying power as an African American community, and then we're broke, and all we got to show for it is jewelry and cars and clothes. Half the folks ain't buying no real estate, and half the folks that buying real estate is still living paycheck to paycheck, right? So paycheck to paycheck, no matter how much money you make it. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter about how much money a person is making. It's all about what you do with the money you make. It's a person, it's a person that works at Walmart right now that has more money than a guy that's making $120,000 a year because he manages his money right. This guy could be in debt. He living a so-called lifestyle, right? But in debt, $500,000. And people wonder why. It's because people have to live up to this image, this look, all this type of stuff. And so a lot of times these won't be sexy conversations. They're gonna be real conversations because they're life saving, generational saving conversations. Because it's cool to be in the videos and stunt and look good, but if you ain't talking about taking yourself to the next level with financial gain in the right way and building financial wealth for your family, digging into those things is not just where am I gonna get my next lick at? Where am I gonna get my next hit at? How can I come up doing this or this or that? That's not gonna happen, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, people. And once you get it, and I gave you all the example earlier of the basketball player, that's a lick. He getting a lick every time, and all of a sudden they done. Now they broke. Why? Because they didn't. It's the management of the money. It's the management. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. It goes back to whatever God blesses you with. Are you able to take care of that He blesses you with? Are you overspending? Are you looking at things? Because most folks aren't necessarily poor. And I like the acronym for poor. The acronym for poor is passing over opportunities repeatedly. Poor, passing over opportunities repeatedly. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. If you don't stop for a second and get yourself together, just stop. Get yourself. Focus on you. Focus on trying to do a bunch of stuff and taking money and trying to get a lick and stuff. Focus on you first. Once you got you first, and I'm gonna tell you what focusing on you means, because some of y'all may have different type of definitions of that. That means you're getting your credit straight and you're starting to manage your money properly. That you're spending it in the right way. That you're paying them your bills first. They come first, then everything else comes second. It's not the J's, it's not the hair, it's not any of those type of things. It's none of that. It's all those things first. Then you focus. Some of y'all maybe sell them J's. Okay, some of y'all got so many collections of shoes. Y'all should have been investing in stock and Nike a long time ago. Y'all would have had money, big time money. Got J's, y'all got weaves out the yin yang, got 15, 20 pair of weaves laying up there. That's the good I don't know what type of what's the name of them weaves they got. I forgot the name, but they got different types of weaves that's high quality. That's thousands of dollars. $1,000. You got $20,000 laying up there. Dude's got $1,500 of shoes, $15,000 worth of shoes sitting up there. But then but getting kicked out the house, can't pay rent, getting evicted from houses, but got $20,000. Come on, man, make it make sense. But got $20,000 sitting up there, up in the closet, up in the closet. Ain't that something? Ain't that something, man? But again, I try to tell y'all, man. I try to tell y'all. One thing that I must tell you is that you have to put that money first. That money got to come in first. Okay, it got to go to what you need to put it towards. If you don't, you are going to be in trouble. So I'm gonna need y'all to make sure that you tell your family, you tell your loved ones, you tell, hey man, it's time for us to have a real conversation. Because folks be funny with money, but then they always want to borrow some money, right? No, you can't borrow no money. Can't borrow no money. I can help you to where you ain't got to borrow no money. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. See, we always talk about buying sugar and stuff. Let's put you in a position when you ain't never got to buy no sugar. How about that? How about that? Let's have that real conversation. Let's put in the situation to where you are now the lender instead of the borrower. See, we put out a lot of these principles, especially from the Bible, but we have to start to implement some of these things, right? You can't be the borrower all your life. Okay, you can't be a person that has to for the handout all your life. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to make a decision at some point to where you're gonna be the one that's gonna be able to give. See, you got to put yourself in a position to be able to give. You got to start to make people stronger instead of making them weaker. See, we got all these cliches. Teach a person to fish. Give man a fish they can eat for a day. They can teach them to fish. They can feed themselves for a lifetime. So that's one of the main things is that if you're taught these simple principles, it seems like it should be simple, but it's not. Sometimes we got to hear it, and sometimes we have to continue to um, reiterate a lot of the things that is being said because that's what it takes. It takes all of us doing the same things and trying to send that message to each other because it won't hurt nobody to tell somebody the truth. It ain't gonna hurt you to tell nobody the truth. If you tell them the truth, you're gonna shame them to death. And that has been a major, major issue that many of us have dealt with in our community. And it's going to take much, 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 much work for that to be done. And I'm excited that this year that will be a part of our agenda and vision for some of the goals that I would like to be a part of in helping our community realize the importance of I call it partly self-love. You have to learn to love yourself enough to work on you because you know being in business development, all those type of things. Those things are great. It's a lot of people that I know that are in it, and and I've been seeing some of the issues from a personal level. So I don't care. You ain't gotta be trying to start no business. This is just an individual basis. You can continue to work a job. I know a lot of people you want to be a boss and people want to be a CEO of different companies and stuff. That's great. Everybody ain't geared for that. And it seems like people try to put people down for having a job, which I particularly hate. Um, because pretty much what they're saying is that nobody will be able to work for them as CEOs. You know what I mean? So it's kind of downplaying people for having a job and stuff like that. So this information will be for everyone. Any individual. Don't care if you work at a school or you work at Walmart or you own your own company or whatever. Is trying to start a business. Is particularly for just it's going down straight to the individual. Period. The individual. You are a business first as a individual. You got to take care of you. You got to take care of what you have going on. And I've seen in this market that there has not been a great emphasis on the issues of the of how this is going to be happening. And so I definitely want to be a part of the solution of this. Got some great people that are going to be coming on that's going to be helping with some of this information, some of the things that you all have hit me up that you're interested in, especially with trading and things like that. But one of my main goals will be trying to get your personal information situation together so that those individuals can do some things great. I also be doing some really, really cool things that's going to focus on enhancing the wealth of the individual and their families. And so again, the goal will to enhance Black wealth by $1 million this year, and we'll be keeping track and record of that, of some of the moves and stuff that we'll be making and helping people um, to get to where they're trying to get to because it's very, very needed for our community. And we need each other to be great, right? We need each other to be be phenomenal. And the more phenomenal we are together, man, we're talking about the next couple of years, we can really enhance the spectrum of where we are as a people if we just get some of the management part down and get some of the things in place that we will need to do, we will definitely do that. And Miss Jordan asks, will you be offering classes and workshops? Something like that. You know, there will be some things that'll be coming up that we'll be offering and things of that sort to get individuals to that next level and try to help them on an individual basis. And so there will be some things that'll be coming up to help those that want it and that are trying to get themselves to that next level and definitely will want to help those that want to get there. So whatever situation people are in, especially financially and wanting to build that wealth, I'm definitely wanting to help a small group of folks to get there. And again, I'm going to be bringing on some folks that's going to be helping and talking about some of these things to bring on some of the information that you all will need to help take yourself to that next level, and also the tools necessary and walking you through that process to get you to from point A to point B. That's going to be important. Walking folks through that and then us being able to track that. So folks have to be extremely committed to the process, extremely committed to actually wanting to go through the process because it's going to take extreme commitment, and it won't be an in and out type situation. It definitely will be all in. And if you ain't trying to be all in, then be all out. You know, so people that know me, I don't play games. So if you're in, if you're out, or you'll be cut out in a heartbeat. So those things will be coming up. So stay locked, stay tuned. Make sure you guys go and like Power Move 365 on Facebook, Instagram, and also on YouTube. Make sure you go follow the YouTube channel. I'll be putting those things up as well. Florence said, I'm excited because I need to definitely get on track with my finance. Debt free is a must. Thank you for sharing knowledge on this topic. Definitely, Miss Flo. Definitely got you in. Um, Rashonda said, "Count me in." All right, we got you, Shonda. Ms. Jordan said these classes workshop will be great to teach our youth in middle and high school. That's definitely something. It's definitely something that we've been talking about. Of getting into the schools and teaching these type of things. We've been doing some things with the schools in the past. I think it's something that we will want to tie in, and we got a bunch of different things that's going to be coming forward. I'm just talking about the finance side right now, but it's a bunch of different great things that are going to be coming out of this, man. And I'm definitely excited about some of the things that we'll be able to do as well. Um, Flora said, I'm looking forward to the classes. Definitely looking forward to folks getting involved and getting in. There's been a few folks that been hearing about some of the things that we're doing and was wanting to get in already. So just wanted to jump on, let you guys know what is happening, what is going on, what is taking place. And so you guys are definitely, we appreciate all of you all tuning in. And again, make sure that you go and like Power Moves 365. Um, I'm definitely excited about what you guys are bringing to the table and what you're going to be able to do with us and for us. And so go make sure you go and like it right now if you have not already. There's going to be some groups and stuff that are going to be involved in this, and some good things that are going to be happening for the next year. So make sure y'all stay locked, stay tuned. I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. And again, make sure you go like Facebook page, Instagram page, and the YouTube page. Make sure you go and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can know where we're going live and some of the things that we're going to be doing. So I love y'all. It's your man, Mr. Jackson, the game changer, Coach Jackson. Love y'all.